robot overlords. This movie starts out with the title sequence, 3 years ago, ... The robots invaded Earth. The war lasted just 11 days. And then it cuts to some baby little person with a computer-animated mouth, and you are trying to catch up for about an hour and a half after that. Starring Sir Ben Kingsley and Gillian Anderson.
So the plot of the movie is exactly what you heard, except all these people are stuck inside because of the robot overlords, and if they go outside, they die. But there are people who have teamed up somehow with the robots.
Yeah.
Or the alien robots. They're aliens, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing is when Ben Kingsley comes up in the opening scene and he kind of deactivates that robot from killing a little kid, I was so confused because I'm like, oh, he's a good guy, and he deactivated that robot.
Right.
And then he kind of is...
It turns into the worst, or one of the bad guys.
Yeah, like he has this scene early on with Gillian Anderson in her house with these 4 adopted kids, kind of like faux adopted kids.
And everyone's so clean, like they're all sequestered in these homes because they can't leave, but everybody's like super clean. They all have perfect hair. I didn't know that. That's what I wondered too. Like who, the robots are letting everything run as normal. Yeah, I guess in society, but that doesn't make sense because nobody can leave their house.
I honestly have a mark on, are the robots the bad guys? Because the robots invade. They take an 11-day battle. They say like just 11 days, but there wasn't a ton of damage anywhere. And they say, okay, just stay in your house and we're going to do our business and then we're going to leave and everyone's going to be happy.
They say they're going to leave, but I don't...
Yeah, and then they kind of change it. It was another kind of confusing. Like they say, we're going to come, stay in your house. And then later they said, okay, we're just doing the testing. They're taking a little bit longer than we thought. It was very strange, but...
And you don't know if like... I forgot what I was going to say.
So what they have is the humans have these neck implants on the right side of their neck, and if you go outside your house, I guess has this invisible barrier, and if you go outside during the day, you have 5 minutes to get back in, and then at night, I think you have like 10 seconds, and then you're killed, but you don't like get obliterated. You have this weird spark gun. I liked with this movie a few things that they tried to do, like someone didn't just blow up and bloods everywhere. They just were an explosion of sparks, and they were just gone. Mm-hmm. I kind of like that, but I feel like people adapt it really quickly to it. Okay, so this happened 3 years ago, and people seem very assimilated to these robots.
Yeah, they're just like hanging out in their house, no big deal. Like Gillian Anderson is the most chill person in this entire movie.
She has 2 opportunities to go after a kid that's out in the middle of the street. So let me get this straight. If the kid goes out, you have 5 minutes before you get back in.
In daylight, yeah.
In daylight. But she sees, in the beginning of the film, she sees a little kid. The guy gets blown up because he's pissed about the robots. The little boy comes out, and Ben Kingsley deactivates it. She doesn't run out to try to get the kid then. And then later on, the kid has to go from Gillian Anderson's house back to his house to get his toys and everything, and then come back. And he I like that scene.
But when he's doing that, though, when the kid's... Gillian Anderson is just like, he's fine, he'll be back.
Yeah, she's in her doorway and just saying, just come on, hurry up.
And he almost doesn't make it. The little kid almost gets killed by these robots.
I mean, I don't think Ben Kingsley phoned this in, but Gillian Anderson definitely phoned this in.
I just think she's not the greatest actress. She doesn't have a mouth. She doesn't have a lot of range. Even, you like that show she's in, The Fall, right?
I liked where it was. It kind of cut off.
I don't think she's very good in that.
Really?
And like
Stella, I think that's her character name.
Well, even in the X-Files, like her and David Duchovny were super wooden.
Yeah.
But you didn't care because everything that was happening around them was just like insane.
And I feel like a lot of people wrote off Scully because, like, oh, that's her character. She's a robotic kind of street man.
It's like, no, that's kind of who she is. And like even when she's like in that prison in this movie, or she's imprisoned in like the worst prison ever.
Yeah.
Where she just makes the guard give her the key.
What was that scene?
So that was her escape. She's like, just give me the key. And then she runs out on a horse.
She talks to him.
Who's feeding these horses?
There's a lot of points that this movie did not make sense. That they definitely try to be the robot Goonies, like a Transformers Goonies crossover. They take some weird missteps. So one of the plot points in this movie is this like red red attachment, like a tracker that's on your neck, and you have to get in your home, and that's how they tell you're in your home. And these kids create the brilliant idea, which was so... I don't understand. They're up in their attic. They touch some weird circuit board, and for some reason they explained that the circuit board had the perfect frequency.
It looked like a car battery, but I don't know why they were playing with it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
First place.
I like the banter that the kids have back and forth. I was like, okay, I kind of like it. I like the casting. I honestly do. I think there's parts of this movie that I really liked, but it's just so weird, and it like works against you. It's like, we're gonna give you something you like, but we're gonna make you hate yourself for it. And they shock themselves. The little the tracker thing shuts off for about 5 minutes, which doesn't make any sense. What electronic device can reset itself?
It's longer than that. It's like 12 hours or something.
Oh yeah,
because he's like, we're gonna go find my dad, and
right.
I don't know why any of them are like, not just like, why the fuck is your dad so important? Like, I was like, I'm gonna stay here. Like,
or
this
try
is
to find
fine.
their parents.
I don't have to work. I don't have to go to school. I don't have to do anything. And there's all this shit here. They feed us. This is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go help you find your dad for whatever reason. Why does he have to go find his dad? This makes me sound robotic. Like, why does he gotta go find his dad? He's got his mom there, and you don't even know that Gillian Anderson is his wife until she hugs him too. And I was like, oh, they're a family?
She mentions it once really briefly. I actually went back to the beginning because I was so confused at that.
On all the relationships?
Yeah.
I don't even know who the other kids that are living in the house.
I think
they're brother and sister, but like, are they some... They're not related to them.
I think they're neighbor kids or something that the parents must have died right away.
That's fine.
So the one thing about the tracker, though, is they shock themselves and they realize, oh, we shock ourselves. The tracker goes off for a little bit. And then... it's kind of heralded later on. They meet groups. You figured out how to turn off the tracker? How? And they shock themselves, and someone's like, oh, you can just use a taser, something like that. I'm like, no, it's the perfect resonance of this thing. And they, every 12 hours, have to redo it. But they are, like, brought up as this underground punk cyber kids that figured out how to undo their tracker. I'm like, that's the first thing I would think of, is give yourself a little shock and it should shut off.
My favorite scene in this whole movie is the torture scene, where they're like in some sort of sphere thing. They hook, like there's some old man that is just in the movie, so you feel bad when he dies, or he doesn't really die.
Like, and as an example, because that's the thing. It's in this weird egg thing,
and they've like run away, and they get captured by Bing Kingsley and the other humans that are on the robot team.
Who are they call contributors?
Do they?
I don't know. Who fucking cares? No one's going to see this movie.
So, it's like they're like in this sphere thing, and it like somehow dissects their mind with like the lasers go in their eyes, right? Am I wrong?
This is the part that I really liked about it. It says that it looks back on your entire memory, and it makes you relive it in a matter of seconds. So you relive your entire life up until this point, and it's condensed into a matter of seconds, and that act basically like shuts your brain off and scrambles it. And so they put you in this little sphere, this like weird laser hula hoop shoots around you, then your brain is scrambled, and they kind of let you off in the wild. So you kind of starve to death, and the little person robot thing says, oh, well, we're not technically killing him, he just dies of natural causes.
Right.
Which is kind of messed up, but I liked it because it's like, that's probably how a robot would kill someone.
Well, the reason this scene is my favorite scene is because they put the main character, Sean, the cool emo kid, in this machine, and he kind of like fights it at first. Yeah. And then he gets Ben Kingsley to like walk up to him because he's like taunting him or whatever. Yeah. And the hula hoop thing that's going around this sphere, like, hits Ben Kingsley. He gets really close. It's like he forgot that it was there.
It's like, Ben Kingsley, there's a diamond ring in the bottom of that garbage disposal. What? And just reaches in.
And then once he gets hit in the face, he like grabs at the first thing he can, which is all the wires of the machine, and he pulls them all out.
He doesn't even, that's the thing, is it's not like up. He literally falls to the side. I thought he did it on purpose. I thought he was going to be a good guy because it's so comically bad. Because he falls to the right of the kid. I don't know how he's not dead, by the way, because this thing is moving so quickly and like hits him in the nose.
And he just forgot it was there.
And he falls into it and like Ted grabs two handfuls and looks like he's strategically grabbing them and then falls backwards.
And the kid just escapes. They all escape again.
So before they kill you, before they put you in this little brain scrambler, they take out the citizen tracker, and then they temporarily put in this new tracker, which makes no sense. And then this new tracker goes in this kid. It's like black instead of silver, and has different colored LEDs on it. He gets out of that. Right. They escape out of that, and then later on, for no reason at all, he realizes he can control the robots with his mind, which is basically the premise of the movie. It's like, it makes no sense of
it's
how
like he has the Force, but it's like they can technically explain it somehow. Like his mind is in unison with these, but with these sentient artificial intelligent alien race, which
I like.
I guess that's what they're saying. They don't really get into it, but I'm assuming that it's like artificial intelligence happened on another planet.
Yeah,
and then they're studying the universe or something.
But the process of right before you're about to scramble somebody's brains, you take out the little tracker, put in a more powerful tracker, and then let them go. It's like if you are about to kill a cattle, and so you give them a gun that they can operate, and then you kill them and by drowning them. It doesn't make sense.
And when he figures it out, it is exactly like the scene in The Matrix Reloaded, where he's like, something's different.
Yeah.
And he turns around, puts his hand out, and he stops the Sentinel.
Yeah. And I like that scene because they almost blow themselves up because he's really excited. The first thing that they say, he gets control of the robot, and his friend's like, make him scratch his own balls. And he does, and he makes this giant robot scratch his balls. And then the next thing he does, he shoots their giant laser cannon a foot away from them.
When they first break out, that very first night when they figure out how to turn off their chips, the first place they go into, they're like, what, we can do anything, what are we going to do? And they break into an old-timey train museum, and they're just eating candy and soda. It was like this movie was written by an 85-year-old man trying to remember what it was like to be a kid.
What are the trains?
What would be the first thing I would do? Oh, go to a train museum.
Maybe this was written by an 85-year-old man. Ben Kingsley, when he captures the kids in the first part, he looks at their pack and there's a bunch of candy and he's like, oh, sweeties. Ben Kingsley is a really weird bad guy. And honestly, I'll bring this up later, but I thought he was going to end up being a robot. But it's just, the movie actually takes some really weird turns, but some points it's just so lazy. They go, this is 3 years, by the way. This only happened in 3 years. And when they meet up with the dad in the end, they go in this old mine. And the sign outside just says, danger, old mine workings, keep out. It just doesn't care. And then they go into these doors that look like they've been around for hundreds of years. They're just made of rust. This is not the Postman. There's not been that much time that this would have happened.
And for whatever reason, this specific part of Earth, the robots aren't checking out at all.
They're not smart robots.
But they're everywhere in the sky, but it just happens that this part of the world is that's fine.
Yeah, Londoners, so they're not going to do anything. I will have to say that one of the ways that they figure out where to go, they meet this old kind of rebel group. They tell them they figured out a way to turn off the neck device, and they meet this catatonic man who somehow escaped them. He did the same thing that the other kid done, Sam Flynn.
Where he had the torture chip on?
Well, he took his out, though. He somehow escaped. Right. And so they were talking...
They take his off. They take Sean's off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead.
No, so when that guy is... when they meet up with that old guy, he kind of doesn't... He seems like he has dementia. Later on, he's just kind of babbling by himself, and he just says, the secret lake or the hidden lake and things like that.
Yeah.
And then later on in the movie, by the way, he's totally fine. And he's drinking hooch. He's drinking moonshine. I have a good would you rather, if I can jump into this really quick.
Let's do it.
Okay, would you rather have one of those neck implants that kept you away from random bathrooms? So you have one, and you really need to go to the bathroom, and you're in public. Sometimes it would affect your own bathroom. You couldn't go in there, and you'd get some shock or something. Or if you're in a quick trip, you wouldn't be able to go in because it would just bounce you back, and you just basically couldn't go to the bathroom at random places. Okay, neck implant, no bathroom. Or have to step into that brain scrambler every morning to brush your teeth. So you have to step into that thing, and it's agonizing, and you have to relive your life from birth until that current moment.
Well, that's just inconvenient. life would be last forever.
Yeah.
Oh, but the bathroom one is a nightmare too.
Both of them are nightmares.
I would rather the second one.
Yeah, me too. I think brush my teeth, but I would have to know.
I need my bathroom open. Like if I'm going, I'm going. Like I would like have a having a panic attack would be worse than having to relive my life every day.
No,
I just wouldn't brush my teeth.
Yeah, an away bathroom situation is so much worse.
I just buy dentures immediately. Away bathroom situation.
So the director of this movie is John Wright, Jon Wright.
It didn't look like he'd done anything else.
He really hadn't. And honestly, having said that, I liked the cinematography of this movie. I thought it was a very pretty movie.
Yeah.
And the directing was okay. I mean, it was kind of invisible, which I guess is the point.
Well, it looked like they wanted to make it into a Hunger Games movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember if I've already talked about this. I'm just going to talk about it again.
Yeah.
They wanted to make another Hunger Games movie. They wanted to turn it into a franchise. So like they got the money for like Ben Kingsley and Gillian Anderson, but
you think they saw this as a trilogy?
Yeah, I thought they were going to make it big, and then once they shot it, they saw the dailies. They're like, oh, okay, this is just going to be a Netflix movie. That's why the graphics look so bad.
Mm.
But they probably could have pumped a lot of money into this. There's just no one in America would have seen it because those actors here aren't famous.
So
like
it was
those kid
for
actors.
British. It was like, and it was trying to be like Goonies meets Doctor Who meets Hunger Games. Like they didn't really know, but it didn't really sound like they were trying to do anything original. They were just, because any original idea they had, robot overlords, this brain scrambler thing, kind of seemed lazy. Like in the end, after I took all these notes, I just wrote meh, because I'm like, that's kind of how I feel about the movie. Like it was fine. There's some parts that were great. The little kid in it was so good.
Yeah, everybody was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it's just honestly, I thought it was okay. Gillian Anderson seems like she steps in at weird moments. There's a point where she's in a valley with like the last survivors, and Ben Kingsley is at the top of this valley with a little person, and then all of these huge hulking, they just look like squares, robots. And she's like, "I'll never go out with you, Ben Kingsley." And he's like,
oh yeah, I forgot that.
He kind of speaks for everyone. She's like, "We'd rather die than like have to go out with you."
Is that the same? Does she escape on that horse? And
yeah, which doesn't, whatever. Because there is this like society of kids or adults that have somehow escaped out of their homes. Maybe they don't have neck implants, so they turned it off, and they're all mechanical, no computer devices. They don't really spend a lot of time there. It was the movie was kind of like all over the place, but there are some moments that are great. There's a lot of slow montages of the kids jumping around doing stuff.
Oh, it starts with a montage of Sean Flynn like training.
Yeah,
like you're like, okay, I think he's the main character because there's a montage. We're not rooting for him. We don't even know him yet. And it's just like all these scenes of him like running up and down stairs and shit.
And I'm gonna actually compare this movie later to
Rocky.
Because Sylvester Stallone's in it as the main robot. No,
spoilers.
I'm going to compare it to Goon because I think
no,
but later on, only because Goon does it something well.
Montage
that it all just leaps into it, and you're fine with it. And this movie leaps into it, and you just are left with so many questions. And I feel like if it was done well, it shouldn't have done that. Okay, so we have a few games. We're going to jump right in actually to a favorite, and that's recasting with a random actor.
And you just pulled a name out of a hat.
Bryan Cranston. Okay, I want to leave Ben Kingsley. Okay. So Bryan Cranston is Gillian Anderson's character.
Oh my god, I was going to say that too.
I think that would make more sense if he was kind of the dad he was in Godzilla, kind of like an insane loner. At the world's ended, he kind of doesn't care. Because Gillian Anderson's character was a little detached from everybody. But I think if you put Bryan Cranston in there, it would have made him and Ben Kingsley's relationship really uncomfortable. Like I think Ben Kingsley would still be attracted to him.
Right, exactly. And it would be that really intense scene, like, go out with me or whatever you were saying. And then
really early on.
And then Bryan Cranston would still act the shit out of that scene. Like, I would never touch you.
Yeah, and then right away on the horse. I think that change would have been amazing.
It definitely would have gotten attention for all the wrong reasons.
Okay, so the director, John Wright, this is a quiz, Collin, for you. I'm going to name 4 movies. One of them is fake. Okay? Grabbers, Fancy Dress, The Dentist, Tormented. Which one of those is fake?
That this guy worked on?
Yeah. Do you want me to read them again?
I know Grabbers is real.
Okay.
That's the one that's wrong.
It's clearly just red ink.
I'm going to go with... I want to say The Dentist is real.
Okay. You're trying to read my face.
Yeah, I am. What are the other 2? Fancy Dress and...
Fancy Dress and Tormented.
Tormented. I'm going to say Tormented is fake.
The Dentist is fake.
Oh, no!
Fancy Dress, when I read that, I'm like, this is going to be a game, because I immediately, that does not sound real.
Exactly, that's why I thought it was obvious. I was like, that has to be it, because that one, he wants me to pick Fancy Dress.
All right, we have, I want to switch over to some good and bad reviews for this movie before we get into some more games. I was just so surprised that they got Ben Kingsley to sign on to this movie, though. I don't know what kind of pitch that they gave to him. It's like, don't worry, you're going to be really good.
I literally have a note that just says, why is Ben Kingsley in this?
It doesn't make... And he really goes for it. He honestly does. Okay, so this is a good review on IMDb. It's just called 10 out of 10. Robot Overlords is overloaded with awesome. A lot of these reviews are long, so I'm going to try to cut it short. I can't help it but cheer for this movie, and here's why. It's like Doctor Who meets the Goonies. I think that's where I got it from, and I honestly agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brave, all-age indie sci-fi adventure. Every sentence ends with an exclamation point. It's the type of film that is centered around kids and teen characters and is still not dumbed down as a kids-only film, which I really like when they do that. When I don't think the Goonies was like, this is just for kids. It's just starring kids, but it's kind of like it has the attention of an adult film. And they don't try to like placate the kids and play down to them. It's like really fun.
Sort of, but at the same time, like the kids are the adults in this movie.
And in Goonies kind of as well. But
right, and the adults are like reliant on the kids. So I don't know.
So they mentioned some other films in here. We had such films, but mostly in the 80s. Stuff like The Last Starfighter, The Gremlins, E.T., Batteries Not Included, Flight of the Navigator, Short Circuit. I think they're just trying to say, in the 80s they were making kind of big jumps, and this movie takes a big jump. So just kind of hang in there and the movie's good, which honestly, that's kind of what I'm left with. Just because I said, yeah, it was fun that they really took some chances, but they didn't all hit where they should have hit for this movie to be really good. It had potential.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I feel like the movie could have been really fun, but it was just really weirdly paced in areas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a bad one. It's just called 3 out of 10 stars, not a very good film. I have to show you this because every line is broken up. So I don't know how they wrote this.
It's like a list.
Yeah.
Of grievances.
In the theme of this film, I'm reading this verbatim. In the theme of this film is very simple and childish. Next line. For teenagers, this is a great film. Next line. However, I enjoyed the film. Next line. The film depicts the family bonds very much. Next time. The behaviors of the human when the fear how they act when the feel the... So, if you don't like this movie, clearly...
I enjoyed this film. 3 out of 10 stars.
Yeah. That's what the end was. All right, let's jump into the Shamalaminon Twist. And this is if M. Night Shyamalan had a twist at the end of this movie, directed it verbatim, but made kind of a script change at the end. My thing is that Ben Kingsley is an experimental robot, and they were trying to figure out how humans talk to one another, so they built Ben Kingsley, and he's just a dick. And... So that's my twist in the end, is you find out Ben Kingsley is this experimental robot who tries to fall in love with one of the humans and gets rejected anyway.
Mm-hmm. That was the whole test. That's the only reason why they're there.
Yeah, and maybe that was like the last probe they sent out into humans before they left is the Ben Kingsley robot. I would have liked that, I think, a little bit more.
My Shyamalan twist would be that at the very end of the movie, he wakes up in that torture...
Ben Kingsley?
No. Sean Flynn wakes up in that tortured thing.
That honestly would have been good.
His life flashed before his eyes, like everything we saw after that had already happened or something. This is going to be really off topic, but did you see the Simpsons Futurama crossover episode?
I loved it.
Yeah. I was like, this is going to be bad because the Family Guy Simpsons episode fucking sucked.
It was weird.
It was like the Family Guy writers wrote it.
I think that's what happened.
And it was so slow paced, it was garbage. And then
Yeah.
I was worried about the Futurama one, and it was so good.
They connected those two shows perfectly. And it was the exact same writing style, basically, so it was great. Oh, God. Let's talk about Futurama for a few hours. Okay, so...
You've seen more of it than I have.
Okay, so this is the game is called Ben King's 3. I'm just going to have you guess how many movies he was in the third installment of. Well, and not in the original one.
Definitely Iron Man 3.
Right.
Oh my God.
I know. I was very surprised, though.
There's more than one?
Mm-hmm. There are multiples. That's the thing, is when I was reading this, I'm like, this is an entire game, just to figure out how many movies he was in the third installment of.
Is he in Underworld?
No.
I've never seen those, so I just...
Everyone else is, though.
What are there 3 movies of?
I don't know if you're going to guess these.
He's not in Jurassic Park.
No.
That's the only...
Do you want to know?
Can you give me a hint? You're like, no.
No. You have probably forgotten about one of these movies, as the world has. I didn't even know they made a second or a third one of these.
3 Ninjas Strike Back or Kick Back?
Oh my God, verbatim. No. One is, I'm going to just tell you.
Okay.
There are 3 movies that he was in, the trilogy of 3. Iron Man 3, Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb.
I've never seen it.
It's amazing.
Is it?
No, it's fine. Those movies are whatever. Dragonheart 3, The Sorcerer's Curse.
I've never seen any. I didn't even know there was more than one Dragonheart movie.
Exactly what I was saying. I had no idea either. Okay, so this one is called Scully Scales, because I didn't know what to call it. But it's about Gillian Anderson and how many different times has she played Agent Scully in different shows.
More than
once. I'm sure you can...
X-Files.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is
sorry, fuck, no. The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, yeah. Because this does not count the X-Files or the 2 X-Files games that apparently exist that I don't know about. But
what about the movies?
Or the movies. These are just...
There is an X-Files game that I played
apparently
on PlayStation, and it's incredible. It's 4 discs long. You're like an agent trying to find Mulder and Scully. Getting off topic, but I highly recommend it. It's like a point and click.
Oh,
where
really?
You have to like find clues and stuff, and then you have to interview witnesses.
That's cool. You get to pick what you ask them and things. That's great.
And it shows you as the agent, like asking them the questions. It's one. I've never played a game like it since the discs are ruined. I've tried to play it again. It doesn't work anymore.
There's some weird stains on each disc. I don't know. I get really excited.
All right.
So there's 3, and they're television. I'll give you that hint. There are 3 television shows that she played a version of Agent Scully.
Are they all animated?
Yes, they are all animated.
Okay, then I'm just gonna.
One of them you're never going to guess because I forgot it was a show. No, I'm actually surprised that's not on there.
The Simpsons, obviously.
The Simpsons is on there.
Was there a King of the Hill episode?
No.
I feel like they all got to be Fox shows, right?
I don't know if they are.
Futurama?
No.
No. Family Guy?
No.
What the fuck?
I'm not saying they didn't have a character like this, but she voiced herself as Agent Scully.
Kid shows?
2 of them are kid shows after The Simpsons.
Modern day kid shows?
No, these are 90s kid shows.
Oh my God. Rugrats?
No. I don't know if you're going to guess these 2.
Okay, just say them.
So, Reboot. If you remember,
I loved Reboot.
Her character's name is Data Nully, which is just great.
Is Mulder in it?
I think so, but I didn't see his. I didn't look that far into it. And then Eek the cat.
Oh yeah, I remember Eek the cat.
Yeah. So apparently she played some Agent Scully in that one as well. Who has been in more voice actors in video games? Ben Kingsley or Gillian Anderson?
I'm gonna say Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley was in 1. Gillian Anderson was in 4.
Including X-Files games?
Yeah.
All right.
So this one is TV miniseries, or TV movies. Who is in more, Ben Kingsley or Gillian Anderson? And this is counting...
God, I'm going to get everyone wrong. It's got to be Gillian Anderson.
No!
God.
Ben Kingsley was in 31.
What? Probably when he was younger?
Yeah, a lot of it was younger. Yeah, he was in a ton of TV movies. And Gillian Anderson was in 19.
That's still a ton.
So this one, I'm going to name a movie, and you have to tell me if it's Ben Kingsley or Gillian Anderson movie.
Okay.
All right, ready?
All right.
Moby Dick.
Ben Kingsley.
Gillian Anderson.
What the fuck?
2011 TV miniseries.
What? Oh, that was with Patrick Stewart, right?
Mm-hmm. The Love School.
Oh my god. I want to say Ben Kingsley, so I'm going to say Gillian Anderson.
Ben Kingsley.
Fuck!
1975 TV series. All right, so this one is The Merry Wives of Windsor.
Ben Kingsley.
1982 TV movie. All right, so this one is Bleak House.
What?
Bleak House.
Oh, I thought you were saying like this is your new game. Bleak
Oh.
House. Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, 2005 TV miniseries. The Last King of Scotland.
Ben Kingsley.
Gillian Anderson, 2006.
That movie
Frasier.
was so boring.
Yeah.
Frasier, like the TV show.
Yeah, 1999.
Ben Kingsley.
Gillian Anderson.
What the fuck?
Crime and Punishment.
Gillian Anderson.
Ben Kingsley, 1998 TV movie. All
I need to just flip a coin.
right, this is the last one. Lucky Number 11.
Lucky number. I've seen this movie.
Yeah,
Ben
with-
Kingsley.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is in that. It was in 2006. Yikes. I saw that in theaters and don't remember anything about that movie at all.
I think I rented it and I thought it was going to be really cool, and I think I probably started doing something else in the middle of it. And I was like, fuck it.
Well, I think we sufficiently talked about Robot Overlords.
Yeah, now you don't have to see it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.